Hi there, my name's Victoria Clements, and today we're going to be talking with Jhet, or as she's better known, Jhet Van Ryven. And she's a best-selling author on Amazon.com and in the Philippines. She's an international speaker. She's done speaking engagements in Canada, Europe, Singapore, Japan, United States. She's a mother with two amazing daughters and a lovely husband, Ted. And she's a very entrepreneurial spirit. She's had her own print shops. She's a world traveler. She's set foot in almost every single continent on the planet. The only one she hasn't done so far is Antarctica, and I'm sure she's going to conquer that too. And she's built an amazing dream home. It really is stunning. She's been through her trials and tribulations, that is for sure. She was diagnosed with cancer. She's in remission now, cancer-free. And she was served with some divorce papers, which was not good. But I'm happy to report now, because I do know both of them, that she's in a happy, juicy relationship now. So all is good. So she's living her dreams, life of her dreams, dedicated in passing along her journey to you to inspire, teach, and plant the seeds of hope to others, because it was really that hope that she had herself. And that's actually what inspired her to write this book, The Tale of Jhet. It's a very fast read, very interesting read. You'll get a hold of this and you will literally gobble the book. You won't want to put it down. I blazed through it in less than 2.5 hours, and I am not an avid reader, and I loved this book. And I love this woman. She's fantastic. So with no further ado, here you are. I'm so excited to have you and be sitting here in your lovely home and looking out at this amazing view as usual.
I thank you very much, Vicky, for that such introduction. I think is that me? Was that me you're introducing? Sometimes I had to pinch myself, and let alone we're living here in a spectacular view of the Pacific Ocean where, it was really a dream come true for me.
Yeah, really.
So thank you for that.
Really, a dream comes true. No, I was mentioning that this book that you wrote, it really is the whole tale of your life, right from when you were little, the thoughts that you had, what you went through, your family upbringing, and then how everything changed just because of mindset. So if you could kind of let everybody know what your childhood was like, because that was very interesting, very different than what we're experiencing here at the moment.
Totally, absolutely different. So Vicky, I could remember as young as probably 3 or 5 to 7 years old, my mother would ask me to come along with her, and imagine me with some heavy load on my head. It's filled with mangoes, fish, vegetables, did I say fruits?
Yeah.
And walking along the barrio in the Philippines. And then sometimes when there's a storm, our roof would be blown away because it was just one of those corrugated roofs. And then we will wake up soaking wet.
Wow.
And also one particular point in my life, which really, when I see where my life now is, when my mother came home with the leftover food from foreigners, and it seems like we won a lottery that day. Like we gobbled up that leftover food from foreigners.
Like it was a feast.
Yes, it's like a feast for us. It was leftover from foreigners. So those are my experiences when I was young, and that's
such a difference. Such a difference. So, being that you came from that, it's hard to imagine that someone just subsisting, literally in survival mode all the time. How did you know to dream? Where did that come from? Because, you got a lot of brothers and sisters. When you read the book, you'll hear it's wacky. There's a lot of people here in this family. But your brain tended to dream. So can you tell us when you started to dream? What happened? And what are those dreams that you have?
Well, one particular instance, I mentioned that I was a child vendor along the beaches of the Philippines.
Yeah.
So I would have this heavy load, and sometimes I would see all these big homes.
On the beach.
Yeah, big homes along the beach. Sure. And I said, oh my God, it must be nice to live in a house like that. Or I just say to myself, I wondered what's inside, what's going on in that house, right? It's so huge.
Yeah.
And then sometimes also when I'm resting or just walking, I would see some I would hear
Oh, the planes.
the plane, yeah, jets, and I see jet streams, and I said, gee, I wonder where the plane is going.
Right.
You know, some exotic places, and
Yeah.
I would just dream.
Yeah.
And well, you know what my life looks like now, right? So it starts with a dream like that.
Dreaming about the plane, and now on the plane, jetting around all over the place and doing your public speaking. It's just such a wild turn of events. I love it.
Yeah, and so I'll see those rich people
Yeah.
feasting on food, and I said, wow, it'd be nice to taste those food, you know, because our lunch and breakfast are just a basic staple like rice, dried fish. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Again, subsistence.
Yes.
Whatever you guys could do to get by, kind of thing.
that's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So here you are, you're dreaming, you're going along the beach, you got the fruit in your head, and you're thinking about all these things. What was the actual turning point? Like what happened? Because we know you're poor, but then you were able to go to high school and you were able to get a college education. There must have been something like mentors, there was something that came along, right?
Yeah,
That, because I do remember there's quite a few actually, quite outstanding individuals that you met along the way. So what was the exact turning point?
Yeah, thank you for that question. It's a very good one. Turning point was, I think I really, I don't know if you believe in angels.
Oh,
I have
yes,
so many
I
angels
do.
in my life. You're an angel.
Yeah, I really do.
She's an angel
Aw.
too. and my husband, of course. But
Yeah.
the angel in my life, one of the person in my life that I could think of right now is that point is my father, of course my family, but the turning point for my education was my father had the courage to approach his employer, son of his employer, who is a priest, and say, wow, father, I have this teenage daughter back home, and she has a dream to pursue college or high school education, college education, but of course he didn't have enough money.
No, yeah, you guys were just getting by.
Yeah, that's right. And so I think that's the turning point. He interviewed me and he believed in me. He believed in me. He said,
Oh, so
wow.
he interviewed you
Yeah,
and he saw the spark.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know
fantastic.
I really don't know what he saw in me. I was probably, one of those
She
kids.
really doesn't know what he saw in her.
Yeah, but it's the belief. like he really believed in me. He said, wow. I told my father, Solomon, your daughter is so bright. I don't know. I was probably, dinky, the starved, petite Filipina, dark skin, malnourished. That's the word. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Look like
Oh,
malnourished.
Oh, you were
Malnourished.
really,
Yeah.
really tiny.
And
she's already tiny now. I can't even imagine you any tinier.
yeah, I know.
Like you're already size 0 for Pete's sake.
I was
Oh, my
malnourished
goodness.
and probably
Okay.
weighing 76 pounds.
Yeah.
And
But you had this huge personality. He saw that.
Yeah, maybe that's why. So
Yeah.
anyway, he believed in me, and that was it. He recommended me to college, and I was supposed to be scholar students, and I was cleaning toilets.
Wow.
Um,
I mean, basically, you were doing whatever you could because you felt so great because you were actually being gifted the education, right?
that's right. Yeah.
So you were thankful. Even though you were doing that, you were still in a place of gratefulness,
Exactly.
which is a very powerful place to be.
Yeah, I still remember,
Right?
Vicky. Yes, when I was there, it's my first time to actually sit down on a toilet, a real toilet.
Wow.
When I was in this high school.
Yeah,
right?
and for people like I'll just say Caucasians, where we grow up like this all the time. This is really hard to get our heads around. Just even listening to you saying that here she is. She's at college level now, high school or how old were you at that point?
I was about 16. I was
16 years old.
16 years
This is
old.
the first time she sat on a toilet. I mean, really, just try and get your mind around that.
Well, I was yeah.
That's interesting.
I was very grateful that when there's a storm, of
Yeah.
course I have.
Your house, your roof is flying.
That's right, and we were fed 3 times a day, and so I know I was the poorest of them all because
Yeah.
some of my roommate or dorm mates
Yeah.
were complaining about the food. I was so
And you were excited about
oh
it.
gosh, I was so thankful that there's 3
meals
square
a day.
and sometimes there's even
Right.
SNAP. So I think it's gratefulness. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, you see, gratefulness. It's a very powerful tool, right? Now, okay, so here you are, you've done all of that, and when did you get inspired then to put this story down into a book form so that we were lucky enough to be able to sit and pick it up and read it. When did you decide to do that?
Well, fast forward. If they want to fill in the blanks, just read a book, right?
Okay.
Yeah, fast forward. When did what inspired me to write a book?
Yeah.
Well, I was now in Canada.
Okay.
I own two businesses, a printing business,
Yep.
and I attended a talk of a convention downtown Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
And it was Mark Victor Hansen, who's one of the speakers.
Yeah, he's great.
And I think he found
Chicken soup for the soul.
That's right, the chicken soup of the soul, the chicken soup guy.
Yeah, the chicken soup
Sorry,
guy.
Mark. Yeah, he's been like
Chicken soup for the soul.
And I was telling him the story and sharing him, and says, Jhet, you know what? You have a book in you. You ought to write a book.
Nice.
Yeah, I said, Mark, you don't know me. I was laughing my head off and said, my grammar sucks. And he looked at me and I says, Jhet, you have a book in you.
Yeah.
So
Good for
leave
him.
it to the editor.
Yes,
And so-
absolutely. I totally agree.
And then I think everything is divinely orchestrated because a few years or within a year during that time, one of my employees
Yeah.
died in front of me.
Oh.
And this is when I asked myself, she's 42 years old.
Oh.
Yes, I had to call 911.
Oh.
And I said, oh my God, so that's life.
Wow.
You're here
it is-
today.
Yeah.
You're
then
here
you're
today
gone
and gone tomorrow. And
Yeah.
I said, I'm so grateful with my life and how can I share, how can I inspire people? And that's when Mark Victor Hansen's
Yeah.
idea came to my mind. I said, wow, my God, maybe I really
should
should
write a
book to inspire other people. And that's really what it is all about.
Wow.
This book was written out of inspiration.
Yeah.
Really.
I would say so. And
So-
that would have been a real. And thank you. Thank you, Mark Victor Hansen, for that.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
For sure. Now, as you know, I've read your book, but I know you mentioned to me that there's a certain chapter young people really seem to resonate
Oh,
with.
yeah.
There's chapter 5 in your book. So
yes.
why is that? Why do you think they're resonating with chapter 5?
The young people resonated with chapter 5 because of the love story. Yeah, I wrote about my real, true love story. It's in chapter 5, and I said here, love, the glory and the sorrow.
No doubt. I remember my first love. Definitely glory and sorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I say here, love begins with a smile, grows with a kiss, and ends with a tear.
Aww.
Well, it's not always like that. So, I met this guy, and we were so in love, and 3 years of nice, juicy,
Yeah.
you know what it is, yeah.
I do.
Romance, and then all of a sudden something happened, and
And that was that?
that was that, and it was like breakdown.
Yeah.
I broke down,
Sure.
and it seems like the end of the world for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's why it resonates with a lot of young people, because I thought it was the end of the world for me, but little did I know that God or the power of the source is something better for me down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I didn't see it right then.
No.
I mean, this is my
No,
first.
you're heartbroken.
Of
You
course,
can
yeah.
barely breathe.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is so talented. He's so brilliant and very lovable. I love him. Kissable lips, all those
All
qualities.
those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, oh my God, he's gone in
gone.
my life, and I thought
Yeah.
it was the end of the world for me. I thought he's the last man I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
never-
Yeah.
Love again.
Yes, yeah. So here, maybe I could read something here.
Sure.
When I first wrote my stories for this book, though I wrote with passion and strong emotion, I avoided identifying many of the deeper details. I realized later that you, my readers, deserve the truth, and I needed to open my heart and express my inner feelings. Some of you, especially the youngest generation, might think you'll never get over heartaches. You might even consider hurting yourself because of you think it's the end of the love relationship, means the end of the world for you. Those painful trials are a vital part of learning. You will become emotionally stronger as a result of those trying moments. And so I went on and on to says, I have only read on and find out how wonderful things God for me. I have only lessons and cherished memories deep in my heart, which no one can take away from me I have no regrets.
Yay!
Yes, anyway. Breathe.
Yeah, it brings back memories for me
Yes.
too.
Oh.
Yeah. So at what point of your life then can you say that you realized that, like you talk about universe and you talk about source and you talk about God's source, what time of your life did you realize that the law of attraction really worked for you, or you started working with the law of attraction? When would you say, like, when did this all start?
Well, I think it all started when I was a little girl. You
Yeah.
know, I didn't know how I'm gonna get to college, and then this priest come along, and then I didn't know that I'm gonna be married, and then this guy, the love of my life now, Ted, the Dutchman, came along. That when you least expected it.
The Dutchman.
The Dutchman, yes.
The Dutchman.
And then when I wanted to contribute and share my God-given gifts and talents, Mark Victor Hansen came along.
Yep.
And when I said my grammar sucks, my editor came along. I mean, this is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
And when I said, wow, it'd be nice to live on an ocean view like this, an opportunity came along. I mean, it's the law of attraction at work.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and when I was served divorce, sorry, honey. I mean, I was able to also turn my life around, but that's the next story.
Yeah, it is.
So I think it's the law of attraction really at work when you visualize it, and then things will come from unexpected places.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. I strongly believe in the law of attraction.
Something like the universe, when you know that you want it so bad,
that you can taste it, you can feel it,
Yeah.
you can see it, sense it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and you take action, the universe will
Yeah.
conspire to make it happen for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I had touched on it before, where we had talked about you had survived cancer, and you also survived getting served with some divorce papers, which was very shocking for you. But I know that you're not there anymore, and I know
No.
that you're cancer free, and I know you and Ted are just on this absolute fabulous romantic mission right now. So talk to me about where you are in your life, this part of your journey right now.
Well, where we are right now is really a sense of living my dreams. There's no more I can ask for, and what it is now, I think maybe if I could share the 5, or I don't know how many did I mention, the success secrets that I applied. You know, like I took responsibility for all my actions.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Taking responsibility, I can share what I applied to program my mind for success, or anybody can program their mind for
Yep,
success.
yep.
Take 100 responsibility for your actions.
Mm-hmm.
I can blame my husband, or I can blame you.
Sure,
I can blame
yeah.
my parents for what's happening in my life. And number 2 is like be grateful for
Big time.
whatever you have in my life. And also what you think is what you become. So I get
Yeah,
that's
so you got to
the-
concentrate on, like, how am I thinking all day long here? How am I thinking? Keep yourself in check.
Yeah, and then I will apply the 3 ABCs of success, which is A is you take action,
Yeah.
B is you have to believe
Mm-hmm.
in yourself, and C is commitment.
Commit.
Yes,
Right.
believe. I always say when I speak, I say the aerodynamics of a bumblebee. The bumblebee think that the bumblebee cannot fly. You know, they have chubby body
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but the bumblebee can fly because
As he believes he can
thinks
fly.
it can.
Right.
Yeah, and then commitment, of course. Is
Yeah.
I have to commit. So where am I in our life now is living my dreams with my husband, traveling the world, and enjoying my lifestyle that I chosen,
That you created.
that I created.
That you
Yes.
created. You designed this. You and Ted designed this. This is fabulous. It really is. It's wonderful. Well, I really, absolutely, love Ted, as you guys know, and thanks so much for taking the time just to sit and have a chat and go over everything. And I hope that we have a chance to. I'd like to interview you and Ted
Ooh,
together.
ooh,
If we
ooh,
could
okay.
do that,
Ooh,
that'd be
yeah,
really
yeah.
cool. So maybe we can do that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I thank you really so very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
For
Yeah.
bringing out the best in the tale of Juliet. Yeah,
Definitely.
and thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Mwah. Mwah.